High-speed straights, heady elevation changes and dramatic corners. What is there not to love about today? It's qualifying day here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Okay, radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
Here's a quick position rundown for you. The top 5 are, okay, so the current fastest lap, 1 minute 41.7. Leclerc, Piastri, Senna, Russell and Schumacher. I'm afraid we've dropped to P22, P22.
And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of those to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track's a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles per hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. What a great lap from Alexander Albon yesterday. He'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Piastri, Senna, George Russell and Michael Schumacher, Ocon, Hamilton, Behrman and Yuki Tsunoda, Verstappen, Antonelli, Franco Colapinto and Hadjar, Hakkinen, Doohan, Nico Hülkenberg and Paul Aron, O'Sullivan, Gasly, Bortoleto and Tim Tramnitz rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Radio check, please. Radio check.
Radio check.
We're still in with a chance of winning this title. We need you to push as hard as you can in the 5 remaining races. Yes, come on, we're on the podium. Good job this weekend. That's a great drive. Thank you.
Well, that's an end to the sprint action. Next up, we'll set the grid for the Grand Prix. So we'll see you next time. High-speed straights, heady elevation changes and dramatic corners. What is there not to love about today? It's qualifying day here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Okay, mate, radio check, please, radio check.
Radio check.
Here are the top 5 cars as things stand. Fastest lap at the moment, 1:41.7. Leclerc, Piastri, Russell, Hamilton and Verstappen. I'm afraid we've dropped to P22. Excellent lap. We're all very, very pleased with that one. Nice work. Come on, I'll see you back in the pits.
Welcome to this visit to the Ardennes countryside. Spa-Francorchamps hosted its first Grand Prix back in 1925, and this historic track is loved by drivers and fans alike. And us here in the commentary box too. So it's a warm welcome from the Belgian Grand Prix. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high-quality racing as well. Simply put it, there's no place quite like it. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Alex Albon leads us away from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Piastri, Hamilton, George Russell and Ocon, Verstappen, Senna, Michael Schumacher and Ollie Behrman, Hülkenberg, Tsunoda, Isaac Hadjar and Antonelli, Aaron, Colapinto, Tim Tramnitz and Mika Hakkinen, Gasly, Doohan, Bortoletto and Zach O'Sullivan rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And alongside me today, a man small in stature but big on comment, Anthony Davidson. Hello. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Well, they'll definitely be glad that there's not a sprint race today. Let's face it, the sprint couldn't have gone much worse, but what we're looking for today is a reaction. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday, but in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was about 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometers an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
Radio check, radio check.
Radio check.
We're still in with a chance of winning this title. We need you to push as hard as you can in the 5 remaining races. Okay, good parking there, mate. Now we need to make sure we get a great launch as the race starts. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid is formed. Be ready with the clutch. Okay, DRS is now available. first position, front of the pack. Piastri's behind. They're on fresh mediums. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 6.2 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. They're in fourth. And the time last lap, 1 minute 46.4. Approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time. Gap to your teammate behind, 8.6 seconds. To have been a problem removing the right rear wheel. We need to try and put it behind us though, and let's finish this race strong. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. So your ERS is running a bit low. Look into changing your ERS mode in the MFD for a more conservative burn rate, or you might want to try some lifting or gentle braking to recharge. The car behind you's just come in for the hard tyres. Car behind running hard tyres. Okay, we're down to our last 10 laps of fuel. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Okay mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home. You're leading the pack, that's P1. Piastri's behind you now. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Okay mate, this is the final lap of the race. Final lap. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 24.6 seconds. you worked hard for that one. Congratulations, well done.
Yeah, that was amazing. Wow.
What a day it has been for Alex Albon, who takes the checkered flag and wins.
I know every race has equal importance in terms of points, but when you get to this part in the championship, it's clearly on your mind as you're looking to see how far up the order you can finish. And races like this certainly help that.
Well, it's been a long wait for many of our drivers, but the wait is always worth it. Bring them out to the awaiting crowd. It's time for our podium celebrations. And taking the very top spot, congratulations, Alex Albon. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
We have something for you to look at, please.
Great news. They've accepted that contract and signed on the dotted line. We should celebrate. And make sure we figure out how to stop any leaks about it. Nice work getting this one over the line. Bad news, I'm afraid. They were dissatisfied with the terms we sent over. You'll have to let us know if you want to go back in for them. I'll await your word. Can I borrow you for a moment, boss?
Hey, Chief. Just a reminder to kick off some research projects. We don't want to fall behind our rivals, and we haven't got anything in the pipeline at the moment. Thanks.
Bad news, I'm afraid. They were dissatisfied with the terms we sent over. You'll have to let us know if you want to go back in for them. I'll await your word.
Okay, Chief. We've just completed the research for an upgrade, and it's now ready for development. Be sure to check in at the development area when you get the chance.
have you got a moment? Need your input.
Bad news, I'm afraid. They were dissatisfied with the terms we sent over. You'll have to let us know if you want to go back in for them. I'll await your word. Okay, sent. Now we wait. Hopefully we'll hear back soon, but these things do tend to drag on. Let's keep our fingers crossed and just focus on what we can control. I'll let you know if I hear anything. Hey, boss, have you got a moment to look at something?
Hey, Chief. Just a reminder to kick off some research projects. We don't want to fall behind our rivals, and we haven't got anything in the pipeline at the moment. Thanks.